Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SnB's F1 series here for round 6 at the Canadian Grand Prix. Round 6 takes us to a well-known and favorite amongst drivers. Thanks to its high speeds, close walls, and plenty of wheel-to-wheel opportunities, the Canadian Grand Prix is a track that drivers love to master. In order to get the most out of this track, though, drivers have to get the straight line speeds and also balance the car so that it can handle all of the chicanes, which we're going through one right now. A lot of these are going to be some trouble spots for some drivers, so I want to see how these guys can handle it as we are in qualifying right now. David, thank you so much. He's one of the drivers out here. A lot of luck to you tonight. Thank you for the sub, 35 months. That's insane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good luck tonight. Hope you do well. So we're on board for 35 laps tonight. I'm thinking as a lot of these guys are on their out lap, we're gonna see probably 110s, a lot of 110s, 111s, 112s. We saw 109 in practice. I'm kind of curious if we can get that in qualifying. They have 15 minutes to do so, so it is very, very possible, but there was only one 109. I'm excited to see what they can do tonight. We have had no rain yet this season. We've had maybe a little bit a couple of races ago, but nothing too crazy. So today it looks pretty sunny. It looks like it's okay weather-wise, and I think we're going to have a wild race here. If you are tuning in, let me know if you have a driver you are rooting for. No times out there just yet as they're making their way around for their outlap. A lot of guys still on pit road trying to get everything settled in for their setups and strategy-wise what they're going to do. And what I'm thinking that we're going to see tonight is possibly a one-stop. Maybe soft to hards or a two-stop strategy. Soft to mediums and then back to softs, or some kind of variation of that where we see a soft, medium tires. But we have Jacob on board with a 110.3. Very close to a 109. We saw Mayer with, I do believe it was Mayer in practice, who had a 109. We'll see if we can't get him out here. I know he was having some connection issues, which is why we're a little bit late, but looking pretty good out here. Stanton Drums out here with a 111.7. Hawk in third with a 111.999, just on the brink of a 112, which we saw quite a few of in practice. So I will not be surprised when we see a few more out here in qualifying. But so far, these guys are looking really solid. I want to talk about a couple of pieces of the track, though. Some interesting news, you know. Round for 12 and 13, you can see it. Let me go on board. I do believe, yeah, right here. This is where this is called the Wall of Champions. This is where 3 champions back in 1999, they were 3 former world champions. They all crashed into the wall there, so they renamed that part of the track to the Wall of Champions. I just found that out the other day. Very interesting for those who do not know. What are the odds? 3 drivers, 1 race. Pretty wild out there. We have another one on board, Rangers. Rangers is absolutely insane. He has all of the wins so far. This is round 6. Let's see. David says, if you want a bit of driver perspective during qualifying, I'm up to help. If you want in here, David, let me get you in here. We'll chat with David. It's always fun. He has been a member of SnB. You've heard me talk about him for, you know, several years. So let's get him in here. But Rangers won every single race so far this season except for 1. He struggled at the beginning laps. I do believe it was Australia. Where he wrecked early on and never could get back up to the lead, making Mayer the winner of that race. David, great to have you in here. How you doing? We'll see if we can't get him on here. Oh, he's still connecting. All right, we'll just wait for his sound. Six-ish, how are ya? Yeah, look at this. David, you're here. How are ya?
Oh, good. Hope you're enjoying the race season so far.
It's looking to be a great race, so I'm going to turn you up a little bit here.
All right.
All right, so for qualifying, what are the challenging spots in your eyes? What can we look out for here tonight?
I think actually it's a very fast track, but I think in terms of getting the times, the tricky thing is not to go over the curves. At least from my perspective, and I heard from a couple of drivers as well. Track limits around those, going through those chicanes is actually pretty tricky, and especially on qualifying, you go just half an inch too far, especially with the strict track limits they have in this game, or at least in the setting right now. One wrong turn or one sharp turn in the corners, your lap is gone. So, especially when you only have like 15 minutes and you want to save these tires, that could be a difference. So, also I'd say it's because it's a very fast track, getting the exit right, going into those straights is key, especially the back straight before the final turn when you were talking about the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of straights here, but then they are broken up with a lot of chicanes, a lot of S-curves. And like you said, if you go over just a little bit, you can receive a penalty, and that could put you back a position or two in race. So that's going to be something that these drivers have to look out for tonight. I will not be surprised when we see quite a few penalties. Now, if that affects how they finish the race and where they finish, that's going to be another story, but we have a lot of 110s on board. How are you feeling out here, David?
I feel alright. In the calendar, this is probably one of my preferred tracks. I was actually thinking coming in, I would actually be better in more technical tracks. We did Monaco last week. Yeah, that's the most technical track you can pick, eh? But I think it's like if you be in a track like this, if you're able to maintain your speed and be able to hold down the cars, because when it goes so fast, you can be able to get really squirrely with the cars. So if you're able to maintain your speeds and stability, you'll be able to do well. I'd say we'll definitely watch out for the Wall of Champions, because I could very well see, you can probably see not a car crash out, but definitely bump that wall, and that could definitely be something to look out for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like these cars, once you have that front wing damage, I mean, it just affects it so very much. So these drivers really have to watch out how they take that.
Very much so, actually. It's you probably won't really know how much it affects it until you drive yourself. But even the slightest bit of contact with someone else, or you slide with the wall, can totally mess up how the car handles. And especially, like I said, especially with how fast these cars go, even if you flick the left side of the wing, you can't turn right as much as you want. So, and that could be seconds just doing that. So, if you watch the two chicanes, I think it's the first and the last where the wall is very tight in on the right hand side. Avoid that wall at all costs. If you need to slow down even slightly leaving that corner, that one lap, it'll be a lot better than having to pit and replace your wing.
Yeah, we just saw Justin go through the first part of the turn here after the start-finish line, and you could see he got a little loose there, so getting on the gas too soon, getting on the pedal there, it's going to really affect him. We do have our first 109, and that is Mayor of Bag City with a 109.994. Just on the brink of a 110. So many 110s out there, but as David says, we really have to watch out the penalties that you're going to receive if your tire's just a little bit over, and how you can handle maneuvering around the chicanes and the S's. it's going to really determine everything tonight. You got to keep it clean, keep it on track, and that's going to give you a good race tonight. All right, David. I don't know. I can't wait to see you on track and see what you do out here. I think it's going to be a solid run tonight. A lot of fun. I did a couple of laps out here, a couple of the turns. It was kind of tricky to slow up enough for me as a new driver, so it will be interesting to see how they can handle the chicanes. But so far, I'm not seeing too many issues.
It's not exactly a track that's too tricky. It's in the driver's perspective, is basically a few S curves and one 180-degree turn and a lot of straights and a lot of speed. I said the only tricky thing is track limits and the walls coming off of 3 and the Wall of Champions. If you can avoid that, you'll be pretty clean and you should doing all right. And I don't know if my screen's gone darker or it's starting to get overcast, but
it is, yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, this weather went from sunny, I think I jinxed it, you guys. Went from sunny to very cloudy, overcast. Man, it may very well be a wet race today. Very interesting. First time I brought up weather.
I will actually see, look, because it shows the weather forecast for the race. It does look like it's gonna be overcast at the start, but the clouds will clear later on, about 15 minutes in. So
okay.
We should be clear for rain. Knock on wood.
Right. Will that help with grip out there, being overcast like this, or how do you think that will affect things during the race?
It maybe not at the start because it's overcast. The track won't be as warm, and I think that'll help with grip, especially when you go on soft tires. So actually, looking at it, the temperatures don't look to be changing that. Won't be changing that much. So. It should be alright. But yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how the change of weather will affect it.
For sure, yeah. It looks like Rangers has leapfrogged Mayor of Bag City. These two sharing the wins. Rangers has gotten 5 out of 6 wins. He takes over the pole position at 109.8. over Mayor of Bag City, who has a 109.9. Jacob sitting P3 on the podium so far for qualifying with a 110.1. Justin out there in 4th with a 110.4. Abyss, he's running out the top 5 with a 110.4, as we have a little bit of a caution out there in Sector 1. They are moving on, but it's looking to be a very close race. I'm not sure that I've seen this many drivers with this close of laps, so I'm pretty excited to see. But all of these guys, except for one so far, are out on the soft tire compounds. I want to see if we're going to get Rangers into a lower 109. I was pretty impressed that we are seeing a 109 so far. With how this track goes and how there's only 3 minutes left, I'm not sure we're going to see much more improvement for these top couple of drivers. You can see Dion just giving a little touch to the wall as he got loose coming off of the exit. Still continuing on, but just little stuff like that can really affect your car. And hopefully it's not going to give him too much damage out there. The best, it looks like Mayor of Bag City, he did it on the 2nd lap. Rangers did it on his first one out after the warm-up lap here on his out lap. Very, very close, but man, oh man. 111 start with 7th. Culture leads the way with the 111s with a 111.275. Hokie Fan, a 111.4, and Stanton Drums, a 111.7. So just very, very close, and I think that's going to be a preview of what we're going to see in race, as these drivers will be racing pack racing tonight, and we've seen that all throughout the season. Tonight's going to be no different. David, I don't see you out on track yet. I'm surprised.
I think it was my mindset with. Well, just see a bit going a bit wide in the first corner. My mindset right now is like I'm gonna hold back because I don't know. I'm not. I guess my confidence not that high in terms of in middle of pack at the beginning, but I just feel like at the moment it's like I'm gonna hold back and see what everybody else has done before making moves. And looking at the clock, I think I may have left a bit too late. I don't know. But actually, looking at the leaderboard, actually, I'm not the only one. Actually, there are 4 that haven't done a lap yet. So
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe some other drivers are like, I'll let you all lot duke it out at the start, and then pick up the scraps maybe if they come up.
Bloomy is out on his out lap. He lets another driver make his way through as he goes through the S's. We'll see what kind of lap he can put out. It's pretty late in the session though. Just over a minute left in the session. He can put down hopefully a lap here, as I do believe he is going to be starting his timed lap very shortly, but it's going to be very close. Definite strategy going on for J-Mac, Gary, and David.
All right. I actually say I'm surprised I don't see that many mediums, because I did notice a couple of drivers actually were going out on mediums on the first lap, and now the fast lap's being soft. So I'm interested in that. Like Skyland's the only one on the medium right now. Be interested to see how, like I said, does affect the strategy. I myself don't really know that well how many laps mediums, softs, and actually there was talks about how long mediums softs will last. Sorry, not sure about mediums, but interesting to see how the strategies go. Who would be daring to go one stop and go on softs, mediums?
Yeah, from what I've talked to drivers, this strategy, the main strategy is possibly going to be soft to hards, and we might see a few go to a 2-stop strategy, soft, medium to soft. Or a variation of that, but we just had Mayor of Bag City leapfrog Rangers again with a 109.4. Just so incredibly close, but with all of these guys starting off on soft, except for Skyland, I do tend to think that we're going to see a one-stop strategy, maybe tonight, although you're supposed to get 12 laps out of the soft tires. From what I'm understanding from these drivers, a lot of them are unable to do so. So that may put a different thing in the mix that they have to come up with a different strategy mid-race.
I would keep eye on the tire choices for everyone outside the top 10, because if you don't remember, those outside top 10 can choose what tire they start on. So if they start on, so we see how many of them start on mediums. They may start on slower tires in the back of the pack to try to get a longer first stint, or maybe some want to go on soft tires and try to see how many places they can get before they pit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It should be matter how long if they start on softs, it will matter how long can they be able to save them. How long can they use them before they have to switch.
I agree with you.
You might be able to squeeze out a soft medium if you save enough. But it's a bit of a risk, I'd say.
It's definitely a bit of a risk, and hopefully if you plan to do that, you're not saving too much and still can't do it and then have to go in again, because that's really just going to absolutely destroy the strategy and what you're able to do in race. So we'll see how it plays out for some of these drivers, and Skyland looks to be on a different plan. We'll see what he decides to do. But it's going to be interesting for sure. Strategies always get a little tangled up, especially if there's a caution that comes out, you know, like we saw the last race that I was able to broadcast. So it could be interesting with that also. Mayor of Bag City is going to be on pole with a 109.4. Rangers in second with a 109.8. We have Jacob in third with a 110.0. Culture in fourth, Justin in fifth, Abyss in sixth, Hawk in seventh, Pokey Fan in eighth, Stanton Drums in ninth, and Skyline is going to round out the top 10. You see on Dion out there in 11th, JC in 12th, Bloomy in 13th, and J-Mac in 14th, and he starts the one that do not have any times yet.
I better jump out here and enjoy the party chat here for the party for the race. Enjoy the rest of the
Absolutely.
race now.
Good luck to you. Hopefully we see you in the booth after.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right,
We'll see.
David. We're getting ready to line these drivers up. You heard it from David. He is one of the drivers out here in the F1 series. If you're tuning in tonight, let me know who you're rooting for. This race starts in 25 seconds, the Canadian Grand Prix. It's going to be a wild one. It is a fast one. A lot of straights, a lot of speeds. Then that gets definitely separated with a lot of chicanes and S-curves. So something that we're going to have to watch out for. A lot of penalties could be handed out tonight. Good thing the guys I used to race with on F1 aren't racing here. They were fast. Oh my gosh, Captain, what's up? How are you? You can see the strategy there. 2 stop, soft, medium, medium. I don't see any 1-stop strategy here, which is what I'm hearing some of these drivers might be interested in taking. So, yeah, very interesting to see what they can do. Captain, do you race F1? I do not. I just do the booth. You're not gonna see me out there. Although it's fun. I've done a couple of tracks and I always have fun out there. But I would, if I was in race, they would probably lap me, to be honest. All right, these guys are on their formation lap as they're rounding around the corners. I want to go on board with Mayer out here. You can just see how these corners, a lot of straightaway speed that you can get in, and then we're going to enter this hairpin turn up here, and we might have a couple of issues out there with this. It's going to be very interesting to see. That is going to be turn 10. Then you have a long straight 411 as just a slight curve out there before you hit the wall of champions in 12 and 13, and that's where they had the 3 world champions in 1999 wreck in the same spot, so they renamed it the Wall of Champions. You retired F1 sim driving. Yeah, I'm also on iRacing, but you know, we're out here for fun. It should be a fun race. These guys are getting out here, getting lined up. Mayor of Bag City is going to lead us off tonight. Rangers in second, Jacob in third. Quite a crew tonight. We have 16 drivers, a full field. I'm going to be curious to take a look at the how these guys are starting on the tires, which one they chose, soft, mediums, hards. What is it? Here we go. The lights are out at the Canadian Grand Prix, and we have Mayor of Bag City. He is going too wide. Rangers takes an early lead. Phenomenal through the corner. Mayor of Bag City all over the back bumper of Rangers. Rangers has a great lead heading into the corner here. You can see Mayor trying to catch up to him. We'll see what he can do. Cultures is going to round out and the podium here so far, P3. But man, these guys are looking good so far. Lap 1 of 35. It's going to be a fantastic race. I'm looking forward to it. J-Mac unfortunately lost connection. He is getting back in the race. The good thing I like about this for F1 is that it does. The AI keeps your car out there, keeps you in the race. He can get out here still in 12th. I mean, how about that for not racing? Jacob gonna be P4 with Abyss in 5th, and these guys are single file going through the final corners here before we hit a lap 2. Let's go on board as they hit the Wall of Champions. Everyone looks like they're okay. We gotta watch the penalties though. We're gonna see, yeah. Rangers with the fastest lap of 1:17 as that is their first lap out. Very, very close racing. Rangers not able to get away just yet. He's got less than a second lead over Mayor, so it's going to be very, very close, but he is already increasing that gap. Funny thing is, Jacob is all over the back bumper of Culture, doing a great job of following the leader here, chasing that rabbit. You see him get a little loose coming off that exit, but man, oh man, second and third, extremely close. Here we go, side by side, going into the hairpin corner. Look at the beautiful lines that these guys are taking. Culture going to head out as the leader, but will he be able to stay as they are still a two-man dance for P2? Absolutely incredible as they go to enter the chicane here. Wall of Champions, and they're going to have to single file it out. Man, oh man, Rangers with a 1:12, still the fastest lap out here, just so completely competitive week after week on a phenomenal drive. Just doing a fantastic job. He is definitely getting away as Stanton Drums. He has the first 3-second penalty out there, sitting P10. Let's go through the board. I want to see what these guys are doing out here. Mayor of Bag City still has Culture in his sights. Culture looking very, very strong out here. We've seen a couple of these drivers have such a phenomenal run on these tracks, and then just a late incident just destroys their hope for a win. Two more drivers out here getting a penalty as we have Culture and Mayor of Bag City going too wide for just a second coming out the exit of the corner. Culture gets a great exit. Mayor had to go. Looks like he's going to use the DRS out here. So, man, very, very close. He's going to take over second. Meanwhile, while these guys are going back and forth, you can see Rangers increasing that gap to over just 2-second lead. Absolutely insane. Mayor of Bag City in second, Culture in third, Jacob. He's going to be out here in fourth, and these guys are just in a long train. Anything can happen. Any position can be made up on these guys. They're just so incredibly close. Take a look at this. Justin directly behind Jacob, who looks like he's trying to make a move, trying to set it up for Culture. Very, very tight here. Let's take a look at Abyss. He has a 3-second penalty. Currently sitting P6, Hawk in 7th. Skyland, man, he's got a lot of company. Stanton Drums directly on his heel. Very, very close out here for P8. Stanton Drums directly behind Dion 4 Dub, who's got J Mac Attack directly behind him. Rangers breaking another fastest lap record with a 1:12.8. J Mac gonna take over the 10th spot. Dion gonna move down to 11th, in trouble for him in Sector 3 on lap 4 of 35. That's gonna be the Wall of Champion, guys. Mayor of Bag City, 3-second time penalty. Man, oh man. Dion, unfortunate incident for him. Gonna move him back several spots, back about 4. That puts David in 11th. We spoke to him during practice. He chose not to qualify. About 3 or 4 of them chose not to qualify. He is one of those. JC, he is in 12th. Gary from Canada in 13th. Pokey Fan, he is in 14th. Dion in 15th. And Bloomy back a cool 45 seconds in P16. Ranger, since we spoke about him last, has increased that gap to 3.3 seconds over Mayor of Bag City. You can see a battle brewing up here. Take a look at this. Culture has Jacob passing him up. He takes over the P3 spot. Mayor of Bag City has got some company. He's going to have to defend that. These guys for the most part, right where we're looking in the group, they have not changed position whatsoever. Mayor of Bag City lost out on the lead. Rangers just too strong. Had some connection issues in practice, so we didn't see a lot of him in practice, but out in the race, Rangers, of course, looking extremely strong, very confident out there. Jacob, we saw him just get a 3-second time penalty. We've talked about the penalties, something that these drivers do have to worry about. You can see him testing the boundaries right there quite a bit. Tire compounds, a lot of drivers on the softs. We'll see if they can't make it last. They've been on them for so far 5 laps. Bloomy with a 3-second time penalty. Skyline is the first one on medium tire compound. I feel like I say this about him a lot. He tends to change the strategy compared to other drivers, but JC, he is on the mediums. Hokey, mediums. Bloomy, Dion. Hawk is the first one to pit. Curious if he has some issues. Let's take a look. See another driver out there as he makes his way through. He goes to the soft compounds. 4 drivers with a stop so far. Could be strategy, it could be trouble. I'm kind of curious. I know these guys are friends. Some of them teammates. It could be definite strategy out here, but take a look at the penalties. They are stacking up, guys. 7 drivers with a penalty. Gonna be bad news for some of these guys. It may affect how they finish. With the Abyss lost connection or retired or wrecked. I'm not sure which. DNF for him. The safety car is out, so I'm gonna assume that is a wreck. Really unfortunate for him. Lap 7 of 35. Our first safety car of the night that's gonna stack these guys back up. We'll see if they go into pit. I'm gonna assume that they are. Rangers having a mistake-free race so far. Helped him out though with Mayer and Jacob, Culture, all battling for position. Justin in the mix there. Really great racing though. Yeah, you have to love racing like that. Abyss has left the session. Aw, man, just so unfortunate to see. You can see where his car is on the map after the first couple of corners there in the lap. Right between 2 and 3. Rangers on pit road. He's going to be the first one. Bloomy Dion on pit road. Our first 5 drivers so far going to make their first pit stop. Smart move. As I say, you can have a strategy and plan, but the first safety car, the first incident that happens could absolutely destroy that strategy. Lap 9 of 35. I know the softs are supposed to last around 12 laps. A couple of these drivers cannot get that from these tires. Switching over to mediums. Jacob is on softs. He has not pit. Skyline has not pit. JC. Hawk gets another penalty here. Only 4 drivers on the softs. Abyss, I guess you can't count since he has a DNF from an incident. Really unfortunate to see there. Fastest lap is going to go to Rangers with a 1:12.8. Man, look how close these drivers are. We have a 1:13.0 for Justin. Great time for him. A 1:13.3 for Jacob. A 1:13.34 for For Mayor of Bag City, very close times for these guys. For those F1 drivers, you know, safety cars, you have to keep a certain distance. If you do not, you will get penalized for that. Something that these drivers really have to watch. Jacob goes into pit. Interesting call as he goes in a little bit later than some of these other drivers. Canadian Grand Prix here is turning out to be pretty exciting. Lap 10 of 35. Just under a third of the way through. It's kind of amazing how fast these guys go just for a safety car. Pretty incredible. I want to talk about points as we are under the safety car. We've spoken about Rangers wins. 5 out of 6 wins for him. Pretty incredible. He's got 110 points. Mayor of Bag City right behind, not too far with 92 points. Justin in third with 61. Skylin in fourth with 49. We have Hawk in fifth with 46. At 33 points, we have Culture in sixth. Jacob in seventh with 31 points. With 26 points, we have Hokey Fan in eighth. Ninth, we have JC with 19 points. Gloomy in 10th. He has got 15 points. J-Mac Attack in 11th with 12 points. And David, who we spoke to earlier, he's got 10 points. Currently sitting P12. Abyss, who we see unfortunately out of the race, he sits P13 with 2 points. Flow Dog, who raced last week while I was not here, he has 2 points on the board. First race out there. Dion Ford Dub, really just unfortunate circumstances. He is sitting P15 with 1 point. Same with Stanton Drums, who's sitting 16th, and Gary from Canada. You gotta love him. He is out there with 0 points, sitting 17th. Ranger's gonna be back in the lead here. As we are under safety car, some of these drivers going in to pit, changing things up a little bit. One stop for most of these drivers. Skylin, no stops for him. JC, none for him. Skylin is very great. He does a great job at fuel strategy. Or I mean, I should say for this, tire strategy. We had him in the Cup Series League and he did quite a few fuel strategies out there. We'll see if he can't make it happen tonight with the tire strategies. Safety car will be in this lap, so when we head to lap 12, we will be back to green once again. This track presents kind of a welcome break for these drivers. It's a fast track. You do have to be mindful of the chicanes and the S curves. The long straights, you're gonna get up a lot of speed and you gotta make sure that you get it woed down. This is one of the really big trouble spots. So far, most of them have been handling that really well as we get ready to go back to green. Lap 12 of 35, Rangers make sure that he gets a great start out here going through the first corner. Skylin already falling back to 1.5 seconds behind. He has not made a stop yet. Mayor of Bag City is going to be looking to make his way through. We do have an issue. I'm trying to find, it could be Gary from Canada. He is spun around here. Ah, man, unfortunate. Can't make his way through. Dion must have been involved. He is lagging a little bit behind from these other drivers here, but Rangers just looking so incredibly strong, increasing that gap very, very quickly as he makes the hairpin corner here. Penny, what's up? Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having a great night out here. Thank you for tuning in. Rangers just having a massive drive out here tonight. No change from any other race. He does a phenomenal job. Mayor of Bag City has won 1 race. Rangers has won 5. Rangers making another fastest lap with a 1:12.7 in practice. These guys were doing 1:09s. Race pace so far is about 3 seconds off. Mayor of Bag City, pit road here. Very interesting. We were just under safety car, and man, I don't know if strategy has changed. What's going on here? I would say this would have to be unscheduled. He comes out already making 2 stops. Definitely going to hurt him here tonight. Rangers still out on the run. 4 seconds ahead as we have a Sector 2 caution out here. Mayor of Bag City going to hurt him even more as he's got another 3-second penalty. That's something we've had a look at a few times tonight. The penalties. You have to make sure that you do not get too many penalties, as these drivers could change the position that they take in the final race standings. Skyland finally brings it in at lap 14 of 35. Makes it last extremely long, so great strategy here so far for him. He comes out, is going to be on the softs. He rode out with the mediums out here. Pretty sure the mediums is what he started with. Everyone else is going to be on the mediums. He's on the softs. Very interesting. Like I said, he's always got these crazy strategies. Let's take a look at Hokie Fan sitting P12. You can see he's got Skyland directly in front of him. A lot of drivers in the mix right here. These guys going too wide. Skyland makes his way through on those fresh tires. Dion. He's going to be P11. David is going to be about 5 seconds ahead. And Rangers, no surprise here. A 1:12.0. Another fastest lap by him. Stan Drums gets another 3-second time penalty. J-Mac attack, you see he's chasing the rabbit up there. He's got 3 of them. 3 of them to chase. Hawk getting very close in his line of sight. Stan Drums directly in front of him. Mayor of Bag City pulls the fastest lap at a 1:11.9 as you know what? When this man gets on a mission and he sees that he wants the lead, he absolutely flies through traffic. We'll have to see if he can stay mistake-free and if any of these drivers will hold him up as he tries to make his way around. Skyland is going to be the next driver in front of him. I want to see the DRS, see if they use that here. You have to be within 1 second of the driver ahead of you. Man, you can just see how loose he gets coming off that exit, trying to get on the gas a little more soon than the car would like here. Definitely a challenge for some of these drivers. I experienced it myself when I was out here trying to make some laps. Going through the wall of champions into lap 16 for him. Mayor of Bag City, another fastest lap, a 1:11.8. Rangers with a 1:12.0, so just a couple of tenths faster than Rangers at his best. We'll see if he can't continually pull those fast laps there. That will definitely help out in the long run, but he's going to have to save those tires. We'll see if he can't do it. Take a look at the penalties. He has the most penalties. Mayor of Bag City, 9-second penalties. So far, our leader, Rangers, has none. Justin in second. He has none. 10 seconds behind their leader. You guys, absolutely incredible. I don't know how he does it. You can put him in any car and he does a phenomenal job. This is one of them. Does a great job in the F1 series. He's in our Cup series, races every now and then. Also our IndyCar series that will be out tomorrow night. They are headed to Road America. You can catch that at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be on Traction's channel. Twitch.tv/TractionGG. Justin doing a great job. He was pretty confident going into this race. You saw David had a 3-second time penalty. Dion, 11 seconds. So unfortunate to see here. Culture, these guys are starting to spread out a little bit, about 3 seconds behind leave Justin. Jacob is going to be the next in line, and he's staying pretty close. Jacob and Culture and Justin have been going back and forth for position, along with Hawk, who is now in 5th. He's about 6 seconds back. Just saw a message down below. I missed that. I think someone possibly lost connection. Gary from Canada down 1 lap so far. Bloomy, let's go back to him. Currently sitting 6th. Quite a few drivers in his range. We're going to have J Mac Attack behind him. And man, he's got a gaggle of cars with him. Take a look as he goes through here. Lap 18 of 35. He's got Mayor of Bag City, who we spoke about earlier. He got pole tonight. Currently sitting P8, moving his way up through the field. Jacob with a 3-second time penalty. He is sitting currently P4. 6 seconds for him. Look at these guys going side by side into the corners here. Mayor of Bag City picking up another position. He's going to be working on Bloomy next. That is going to be for P6. I mean, like I said, guys, he is on a mission. Taking it down below. He's going to make that pass as he goes into the corner here. Wall of Champions. J Mac Attack gets a penalty. He's sitting behind, right behind Bloomy. A heavy spot for those penalties. Can be pretty tricky to get around, but these guys are doing great so far. Mayor of Bag City moves up to 6. Take a look at that, guys. Bloomy, a 3-second time penalty. That's going to be 6 seconds for him total. I can talk, I promise. Viewers, let me know. What's your experience with F1? You have a driver that you're rooting for out here? Let me know. Rangers. I don't even know what to say about him. Absolutely incredible. Lap 19 of 35. These guys are still on the move. Most of them under mediums. Skyland, the first driver with soft tire compound. Huge gap between our leader and second, which is Justin. He's hoping for a great race out here. He is one of our Canadian drivers. This is his home track here. Hoping to bring home that podium finish. He would love a win. I'm just not sure if anyone's going to have enough for Rangers. We saw Rangers struggle at Australian Grand Prix and ended up losing that race. Did not do so well there. That win went over to Mayor of Bag City, who has tried to give some competition to Rangers and has done a fantastic job, as well as these other drivers out here. Jacob, 16 seconds back from our leader. 5 seconds from second place, kind of on his own little island. He's got Culture behind him. He's got him in his line of sight, but 2 seconds back for Culture, sitting P4. David getting another penalty here. So easy to do. I do believe this is going to be the most penalties I've seen out of the group of drivers. Pretty incredible. Fast track. Broken up by a lot of chicanes, a lot of S-curves that you really have to make sure the car is woed down. Stay within the perimeters of the track, and some of these drivers just so much speed, having a hard time being able to do so. J Mac Attack having a great night, moving up 7 positions. Same with David. 7 positions, Mayor of Bag City. Hard race for him as he tries to make his way back through. Lost 5 positions here. And we are under caution, under a safety car, and I do believe it's going to be from Gary from Canada. Rangers already on pit road. That's going to be a second stop of the night. Lap 21 of 35. We'll see if he can hold it out for the remainder of the race. Most of our top drivers on pit road. Hawk looks like he is staying out. J-Mac under safety car. Speeding on pit lane, Bloomy. 5-second penalty for him. Frustrating penalties for these drivers. Quite the challenge. I've talked about it, but these guys having to stay within a certain amount of time within each other, very challenging. You mess up a little bit, it will be a penalty. Hawk gonna be in second. Justin going to be in third. Had a great run on that last run. Staying in second the entire time. These guys went into pit road. Hawk came out before Justin, moved things around just a little bit. Jacob loses 1 position so far in the race. Started out in the podium. Currently sitting P4. Culture losing a spot. Mayor of Bag City. We talked about him quite a bit tonight. Sitting P6. 5 positions down from where he was. You can see these guys lined up. Jacob in 4th. Culture in 5th. Mayor of Bag City in 6th. J Mac Attack in 7th. David in 8th. Stanton Drum, he gets another penalty here. We've seen a few from him so far. Hawk is going to go on pit road. Some of these drivers planning on their strategy. Bloomy, he goes on to pit road. Dion, Hawk, all making their way to pit road. Most of these drivers on 2 stops. Mayor of Bag City with 3 stops. First one on track here with 3. JDM Hawk. Second one with 3 stops. Stanton Drums. Dion having 4 stops out there along with Bloomy. Very close. Fastest laps here. Rangers with a 111.9. Mayor of Bag City with a 111.8. A lot of competition between these two. I want to see these two get close together again. Line them back up. Put these guys side by side. Let them race it out. Justin moves up, back up to P2. Jacob in 3rd. Mayor of Bag City on those hard tires. Same with Hawk and JC. I'm kind of curious if they're planning on making this last the rest of the race. We'll see how their car reacts to it, what happens with them, and if our other drivers can manage to stay out on these medium tires. We talked to David a couple of times during qualifying and practice, and it was very interesting. He was saying the same thing that I was hearing. Staying consistent, staying on the track, and keeping those penalties away is gonna be key here tonight. And so far, we've seen a lot of penalties. Mayor of Bag City. You can see that he's getting a little sloppy, I guess you could say, with the penalties. Not gonna help him in his race to get the lead. We'll see if he can't bring home second, but I'll tell you what, Justin looking so solid out here. "24 of 35, the safety car is still out. We'll see if it comes back in this time around. And confirmation right there. Safety car in this lap as we head to lap 25. Rangers looking to get that great start as these guys are going back to green any moment now. Let's go on board with Jacob as we go back to green. Gonna make our way through the wall of champions, and we are back to green once again. As soon as we hit that line, here we go. Gotta get it immediately woed up to make it through these first couple of corners. Justin gets a little slippery going through there. Rangers just, man, grip for days. Makes his way through the turns and S's just absolutely beautifully. Really testing the boundaries here. Jacob so close to that wall. 6 seconds in penalties right now, but man, he is very solid. Justin gets a penalty right there. 3-second one for him. That's going to be his first one of the race, so not terrible. Lap 25 of 35. He's looking pretty safe so far. Let's take a look at our field right now. These guys single file line, but I don't think it's going to be for long. Heading to a lap 26 of 35. The long train, but these guys are so incredibly close together. Mayer gingerly taking it through the corner here. Loses a little bit of time to Culture, but he's got time to make it up. He's really got to make sure that he keeps within the boundaries here. Stanton Drums, another 3-second penalty for him. 12 seconds total. Him and Mayer have the most second penalties here tonight. Really tough to watch as a driver. I mean, it could mess you up just thinking about that, getting frustrated. Sector 2, let's see what happened here. Jacob getting back on track. That's going to make him lose quite a bit of positions. Man, such a great run here tonight. Really tough to see for him. Still a little bit of time left. 26 of 35. We'll see if he can't make up some time here. Ranger's still the leader. He's got about almost 4 seconds over second place Leaf Justin. He's doing a great job. Only 3-second penalty for him. Our leader, though, no penalties whatsoever. Culture, no penalties. Skyland, same with him. Everyone else has at least a 3-second penalty. So we're really going to have to keep our eye on what happens in the final part of this race. Might be some switching of positions here. JDM Culture, take a look. Let's go to the telemetry here. You can see him make the pass right before the wall of champions. Mayor of Bag City, another penalty, 15 seconds for him. You guys, if you know of about F1, is there a limit to the amount of penalties that you can get? I don't know enough, but man, great move by Culture. Making his way through. Use the DRS to make that happen. Stanton Drums. Another penalty here. That's going to be 17 seconds. My goodness. What is going on with these drivers? I have never seen that many penalties. Culture passes Justin. Where did Justin go? Falls back from second to fourth. Let's take a look on board with him. Mayor of Bag City up to third. 15-second penalty, though. That's really going to affect him in the race position here. Culture lets him go by. Tight race, you guys. This is for second place. Rangers enjoying that they are battling it out back here. That's going to allow him to gain and put more of a gap between him and these drivers. Exactly what he wants to see. Lap 29 of 35. This race is coming down to a close. There is enough laps left. You can mess up, you can gain some positions. We'll see which one it is for these drivers. But quite a gap between fourth and fifth. That's Justin and Hokie. About 3-second gap, and then we have another pack. Rangers left the session. Man, oh man, we'll have to see if we can't get him back in here, but AI has taken over. That gap closing. You guys, man, not the way you want to see that play out. We saw him have some connection issues earlier on. That was an update to his system. Hopefully that's not the case once again. Hopefully he can get back in, but boy, oh boy. Mayor of Bag City is going to be in second out here. 15-second penalty. I don't even think that if he gets in the lead, he will be able to keep that. There's just absolutely no way. Unless he gets a 15-second plus lead out there, I don't see it happening, but he is closing the gap on Rangers AI. If Rangers is able to, you know he's in a mad rush to get back in here and take that over. Dion, another penalty, 15 seconds for him. Vulture, let's see where he's at. That gap has increased between second and third, and that gap to the leader. Rangers has, it's definitely closing, guys. It is definitely closing. Mayor of Bag City, another penalty, 18 seconds, just unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. Justin out here, 3-second penalty. Stanton, 20 seconds. Culture, 0 penalties. Rangers, 0 penalties. Skyland, the same. This is crazy. I don't even know how this race is going to shake out, but Mayor, if he wants to keep within this top part of the race, I mean, he's going to fall back pretty hard. Justin, we'll see if he does, yeah. He's got the DRS enabled. He's going to make the pass. That's going to be for P3 as he makes his way through the wall of champions. That might be a penalty right there. I know that he extended that just a little bit. David gets a penalty. Does not look like Justin does. pretty incredible. Rangers, I have not seen him make his way back to his car yet. I don't know. It's unghosted. Maybe he is. You guys, this is crazy. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to tell, but I thought it was if your car is ghosted out, you are an AI driver. Maybe I missed that he got back in. We'll see. Mayor of Bag City just, man, the penalties tonight are just stacking up for these drivers. Really gonna hurt him. He's gonna have to get all the positions that he can. Second may be the best that he can do. Lap 32 of 35. This race is coming down to the wire. Culture in P4, Skyline in P5, who has run a different strategy this entire race. Let's take a look at their details. He's on the mediums. Mayor of Bag City on the hard. The race result's going to be very interesting for these drivers. Mayor's going to fall back with all those penalties. Really unfortunate to see tonight. He's just ran an incredible race, making his way up through the field, but the penalties, you just absolutely have to stay away from them. Let's take a look at Hokie Fan. He's got some company behind him. He's got David having a great race out here. Getting a lot of positions. He chose not to qualify. He's going to be up P7. We'll see if he can't make any moves to P6. Loses a little bit of time through those corners. Lap 33 of 35. Gets a penalty right there. Stanton with another penalty. All right, Rangers. Making his way through the chicane here. Going down the front stretch, lap 34 of 35. Culture, haven't seen that in a while. 3 seconds first for him. That makes every driver with a penalty except for our leader, Rangers. Man, oh man, can you believe it? Going into sector 2 here. A little bit of gap. Let's take a look at Jacob. It looks like he's got some company out here. Hokie Fan, he's got David behind him. Skyline in front. We're quickly approaching the final lap of the Canadian Grand Prix. Hokie Fan in 6. Skyline looks comfortably ahead. Man, these corners here, that hairpin. If you do not nail that, boy oh boy. I think we saw Gary have an issue there. Finished his night. David sitting P7, Skyline in 5th. Culture is going to be in 4th. Justin currently sitting P3. These guys are on the final lap. Rangers as our leader. That gap has closed, you guys. It will not matter. Mayor has so many penalties. Man. Jacob gets another penalty. 12 seconds for him. That group, 7th, 8th, 9th, all 12-second penalties. That's going to be David, Jacob, Bloomy. Dion has got 15. Rangers heading through the hairpin corner. This is the final couple of turns for him, and he will be the winner here at the Canadian Grand Prix. That's going to be, I would say, 5 out of 6 races. Win for him. Absolute insanity. Goes through the wall of champions. No penalties. Perfect race from him. Congratulations to Rangers on the win here at the Canadian Grand Prix. Man, you're going to hear from him again in the booth. Leaf Justin, he makes his way. He's going to be on the podium at his home track, the Canadian Grand Prix. Sits second, JDM Culture, rounding out third. Great job to these drivers. Man, oh man. Mayor of Bag City, these penalties are shaping up, and we'll see how it goes. But man, wild race. This is the race of penalties tonight. Mayor of Bag City, so unfortunate to see. I'm gonna go ahead and get these drivers in here. Full party, I can't even view. All right, we're gonna have to get Culture in here. We'll get him in here. Top Gear, what's up? I know. Rangers is literally the only driver without a penalty. Mayor gonna fall back to 6 after a 21-second time penalty. That is gonna move Justin to second, Culture to third. Our top 5 guys, minus Rangers, has at least 3-second penalty. All right, I need to get these guys in here. They're being shy or something. Let's see if I can't view. Yeah, it won't let me view anything. We'll see if we can get an interview in here. David, you had a great night. P8. Fantastic night for you. For some reason, I can't invite anyone. I'll say I can't get to see the party, what they're doing here. I've invited Justin, but so far I can't get him to come in. Oh, there we go. Justin, I can't literally invite anyone. Can you get Rangers in here in Culture? We'll see if he actually heard me.
I can.
There we go. The only driver. Let's make sure that he can hear me. All right, Rangers, the only driver without a penalty tonight. Man, what a race. And we saw you disconnect even. Just a perfect race from you. How was it out there?
That's pretty good. I'd say so. Started second, got a great start. Got past him there at the start, and for the most part, it was a pretty smooth race. Other than I lagged out there with about 6 to go, but we got back in, and hey, I don't know. It was just kind of just. I mean, I knew this is a high penalty track, so I just tried my best just to. I mean, I ended up with 2 warnings there at the end, but I just tried my best to just take it as easy as I could through some of the tougher turns.
I saw you get disconnected. I did not see you come back in, so I'm glad you did. But when were you able to get back in? How many laps were you out?
About a lap. Wasn't too bad.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
This game makes it easy to get back into lobbies, so I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. Just another great race from you. The only driver without a penalty. You kept it consistent, kept it clean. Man, I don't know what else to say, but congratulations on the win at Canadian Grand Prix. You did a phenomenal job out there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Justin, bringing it home in second. I know we spoke, and you hello. You were very confident that you could do well tonight. Did you think you could bring home a podium finish out here with P2?
P2 was about what I thought that like the max could have been. like looking at practice times and stuff. Like if everything went my way, that there was a chance. I was after last week and some of the Monaco shenanigans that happened. I was kind of determined that we're going to Canada, a rebound race, favorite track, obviously home country, and I wanted a podium. So I practiced a fair amount, and yeah, I'm just glad that kind of the strategy and the timing of the safety cars and stuff kind of, shook out, not in a bad way for me personally, and yeah, we're able to hold off, not get too many penalties, but kind of keep it together. And I kind of feel bad, honestly. Jacob was right there with me the whole race. He was honestly on like even footing with me, and I had like a wheel problem and a force feedback issue and had to pause, and my AI did something stupid and kind of shoved him in the wall, so it cost him a bunch of spots. So
Oh, geez.
kind of feel kind of like actually quite bad about that, but I was just talking to him, so.
Yeah, I was kind of
But
curious. I
yeah,
know
I
there's
mean,
been a couple of issues with the AI out there kind of beating people up. I think Skyline had that same issue.
well, it was force feedback. I know I'm not the only one. I've heard a few people, but force feedback cut out my wheel going into a corner, and I was gonna blow it. So I like paused real fast so I wouldn't crash in, so I could fix it. And I guess because my car was like offline, that the AI like flipped out and like cut to the side and like hit him, and I don't know exactly what happened because I was paused, but it sent him flying pretty much. So
Oh, geez.
yeah, that wasn't great. Could have been a top race for him, but either way, happy with second place, the podium, rebound after Monaco, and yeah, go on to next week.
Speaking of
Hopefully do it
next
again.
week, how do you feel at Coda?
uh, Not great, but uh, old Rangers here knows very well, is well established. That's my only win. Some
We don't
shenanigans
talk about that.
happened, and that's the only race that I won in this with some help. But yeah, I don't feel great about the track, but we'll just go in there and see what happens.
Well, we'll see if luck will be on your side next week. Maybe get a win, but congratulations to you on the P2 tonight. Great job out there. It was fun to watch. A lot of battles. All right, Culture, running out the podium finish here. I saw you in a lot of battles, including with Justin and a few others out there. How was it out there on track and making your way through and trying to get those positions?
Another stressful race, constant wing damage, the whole race. So it was more of just trying to make sure I brake in time and not hit the wall again.
Oh, geez. Where was it?
Both sides at the another race.
Was it at the Wall of Champions, or where are we talking? I know a lot of drivers had issues with there.
Yeah, the Wall of Champions and the last chicane, I believe.
Well, it was a fun race. You made your way up through traffic, battling with these drivers back and forth. Really, really fun to watch. Very exciting race. So great job on the P3 out there tonight. How do you feel about Coda?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever raced a league race at Coda before, so I have no clue what to think of it.
You're in for a wild one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild one. That's one that I'm glad I'm in the booth for. I say that a lot in this league because I'm terrible at road courses, but for sure that is one. Fast, very curvy. It's gonna be a wild race, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We will be back next week. You heard it. We're gonna be at Coda, same time, same day, actually a little bit sooner because tonight we had some connection issues, but it should be around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you next week. If you want some more racing, tomorrow I will be on Traction's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TractionGG. It's going to be our IndyCar League, and we are headed to Road America. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. I will see you guys later. Take it easy.